Stealth dies when speed climbs. Until now. The F-47 is built around one idea: break the trade-off, then use that advantage to control every aircraft around it. There's a fighter jet that broke the rules before most people even knew the rules existed. It moves through contested airspace at speeds that should make stealth impossible. Its radar signature should bloom under the friction of supersonic flight, except it doesn't. And inside that cockpit sits a pilot who isn't flying alone. They're commanding a swarm of autonomous war machines that move like extensions of their own mind. The Air Force has finally confirmed what defense analysts had been whispering about for years. And what they've unveiled doesn't just challenge conventional aerospace wisdom, it shatters assumptions we've held since the birth of stealth aviation. The F-47 represents something engineers once said couldn't exist. It's a convergence, one forcing adversaries to tear up their strategic playbooks, while allies quietly wonder, when did the gap get this wide? But here's what matters more than the shock value. What almost nobody is breaking down is the science that makes this possible. For decades, the aerospace community insisted these pieces could not live in the same aircraft. True stealth and sustained Mach speeds. Incompatible. Radar-absorbing surfaces under thermal punishment. They don't survive. Next-generation air superiority without bankrupting the budget? Fantasy. Yet every credible description of the program contradicts those certainties. And here's the part that changes everything. The F-47 may not be designed to win dogfights. It may be designed to win wars by controlling every aircraft around it. The question is, what had to be invented for that to be real? This is Jet Intelligence, where we decode cutting-edge military aviation in terms everyone can follow. Today we're dissecting the F-47. And by the end, you'll understand why this aircraft doesn't just upgrade US air power. It changes the math of modern air combat. The thermal wall. Start with the elephant in the room. Speed. The F-47 is described as pushing beyond Mach 2, deep into a regime where aerodynamic heating stops being a detail and becomes a relentless enemy. Fast aircraft aren't new. Air superiority jets have lived in that neighborhood for decades, but stealth fighters have always paid a price for it. Even the most advanced low observable designs, the ones that rewrote doctrine, carry a painful trade-off. The faster you go, the hotter the skin gets. And that heat doesn't just punish the structure, it punishes the materials and treatments that keep the aircraft hard to detect. Radar-absorbing surfaces can degrade under repeated thermal cycling. Edge treatments lose integrity. Maintenance hours climb. Sortie rates fall. And stealth becomes something you restore, not something you simply have. So the contradiction is blunt. If the F-47 can sustain Mach-class speed while staying low observable, something fundamental had to change. The most believable explanation isn't miracle paint. It's manufacturing. Instead of stealth being a fragile outer layer, the F-47 is widely discussed as using stealth integrated into the aircraft's skin, materials engineered into composites during manufacturing. Think of it less like a coating and more like a property of the airframe itself. No exposed seams that quietly grow into radar problems. Fewer joints that demand constant attention. Less dependence on ground crews rebuilding the signature after every demanding flight. And then there's thermal management itself, because even if stealth is more durable, the aircraft still has to move heat away from the places that matter. Modern 6th-generation thinking points toward cooling architectures that aren't isolated in one component, but embedded across the airframe. A thermal network that channels heat away from critical surfaces, stabilizes avionics, and keeps performance consistent when the jet is operating at maximum intensity. Competitors can stage flyovers, they can parade prototypes, but solving the unglamorous problem, heat, is often what determines who can field capability at scale. If you respect the kind of engineering culture that solves problems like that, type proud in the comments. The invisibility evolution. Speed grabs attention, but the true nightmare for adversary intelligence isn't how fast the F-47 is. It's how it's described. The Air Force has used terms like all aspect and broadband, low observability. That's not just flavor, it's a clue. Traditional stealth aircraft, even legendary ones, tend to be stealthier from some angles than others. Geometry matters, edges matter, inlets, tails, and exhaust features matter. Many designs are optimized to be hardest to detect head-on, because that's how you expect to meet threats. But radar operators adapt. They network sensors. They reposition to search for weaker aspects. All aspects suggest the F-47 is engineered to keep a very small radar cross-section from far more directions: front, sides, rear, above, below. It's the difference between nearly invisible if you approach perfectly and painfully hard to track no matter how you present. That points to radical geometry, reduced vertical surfaces, smooth blending, careful control surface design, fewer shapes that reflect energy back to a radar. But stealth isn't just radar anymore. Modern detection is multi-sensor. Infrared systems can track heat. Passive receivers can listen for emissions. Fusion networks can combine imperfect cues into a firing solution. So broadband, low observability isn't about one trick. It's about denying multiple detection methods at once: radar, infrared, acoustic cues, and the aircraft's own electronic footprint. Here's the detail most people miss. The F-47 may be designed to make enemy sensors disagree. When radar says one thing, infrared says another, and emissions don't match either. Defenses hesitate, and hesitation is how you get killed in the first minute of a fight. Before we go deeper, quick reminder: if you like this kind of breakdown, hit like and subscribe. Most viewers watch without subscribing, and it's the simplest way to tell YouTube you want more. To reduce infrared signature, next-generation designs focus heavily on exhaust and heat distribution, mixing hot flow with cooler air, shaping nozzles to reduce hotspots, and controlling where heat travels so it doesn't form a clean beacon. If that's executed well, it changes the fight. Missiles struggle to get a stable lock, and enemy pilots may not realize they're targeted until the engagement is already decided. Which brings us to where the F-47 stops being just a stealth fighter. The combat conductor. This is where the F-47 becomes something else, a command node. The Air Force keeps describing it like a quarterback, and that framing matters because it tells you the program's real goal. Traditional fighters force one human to do everything at once: fly, navigate, manage sensors, track threats, communicate, and employ weapons at closing speeds where seconds decide survival. That cognitive load is the ceiling. So the F-47's objective isn't to make pilots better. It's to change the job. Instead of one aircraft fighting as one aircraft, the F-47 is designed to lead a team. 2 to 8 collaborative combat aircraft, or CCAs. Not simple remote-controlled drones. Semi-autonomous combat platforms that can carry sensors, weapons, jammers, decoys, and reconnaissance systems, and execute coordinated maneuvers at machine speed. Now picture the tactical math. A pilot who used to represent one set of eyes and one weapon system becomes the commander of a formation that can move like a single organism. Drones probe ahead. Drones force radars to light up. Drones draw shots. Drones attack from angles that a human-only formation can't synchronize in time. And none of it works unless the system can process information faster than human cognition. That's where sensor fusion stops being a buzzword and becomes the bedrock. Data from the jet, data from each CCA, inputs from satellites and friendly aircraft, threat libraries, pattern recognition, prediction. Instead of the pilot drowning in signals, the system presents a coherent picture. What's there, what it is, what it's doing, and what it will likely do next. Imagine meeting 6 enemy fighters. In older aircraft, you'd be outnumbered and reacting. But with multiple CCAs, you can create pressure from multiple directions while staying safer and more informed. Some drones can jam, some can carry weapons, some can act as decoys, some can push into danger so the manned jet doesn't have to. And that leads to the concept that changes everything. Here's the real advantage. The most important weapon isn't the jet, it's the multiplication factor. If one pilot can command a squadron's worth of aircraft, the side that wins won't be the one with the best dogfighter. It'll be the one that can multiply combat power faster than the other side can even process what's happening. That's why raw fleet numbers can be misleading. A modest purchase of manned jets can translate into a much larger effective force when each one is paired with multiple CCAs. And it's not just the count, it's the geometry. Multiple platforms attacking from multiple vectors while sharing a unified picture is exactly the kind of problem that breaks integrated air defenses and overwhelms pilots. But to pull this off, the F-47 needs to do one more thing consistently: get there, stay lethal, and power everything it's carrying. That's where propulsion comes in. The propulsion enigma. If the F-47 is genuine 6th-generation air dominance, the engine may be the most transformative part. Traditional engines live on a trade-off: optimize for fuel efficiency or optimize for raw thrust. Range costs performance. Performance costs fuel. Adaptive cycle concepts aim to bend that trade-off. Engines that can shift modes in flight, more efficient for long-range transit, more aggressive for combat. And in the Pacific, distance is the battlefield. Range affects basing. Tankers become high-value targets. Long-range missiles push aircraft farther back. So an aircraft that can operate from more secure positions while still arriving with speed and capability changes strategy. Adaptive engines also point to something else: electrical power. Because modern fighters aren't only burning fuel for thrust, they're powering sensors, electronic warfare, networking, data processing, and potentially an entirely different class of weapons. Directed energy. Lasers aren't science fiction anymore. The real question has always been whether the aircraft can generate enough power and manage enough heat to make them practical. And this is the moment it gets serious. If the F-47 has the power and cooling for directed energy, you're looking at an aircraft that doesn't just carry ammo, it carries endurance. And that single shift could redefine what air superiority means in the next decade. A laser doesn't deplete like missiles do. The limits become fuel, power generation, and thermal management, exactly the areas where next-generation engines and cooling architecture matter most. Even if directed energy is used defensively against missiles or drones, it would add another layer to why this platform is described as a generational leap. The classified flight hours. Here's what should bother adversaries the most. Programs like this don't appear overnight. By the time a name becomes public, years of quiet testing, modeling, and integration work may already be done. Demonstrators, X-planes, technology maturation programs, the invisible foundation that turns feasible into deployable. Modern development also leans heavily on digital engineering, validating systems in simulation, compressing timelines that used to take decades. That combination, classified test activity plus digital design, helps explain how a program can move from rumor to manufacturing faster than legacy programs ever could. And speed matters. Development velocity is a strategic weapon. If you can iterate and field capability faster, you don't just win one generation. You stay ahead across multiple cycles. What it means. So what does the F-47 concept really represent? A platform that aims to combine sustained Mach-class performance without surrendering low observability, multispectral stealth that denies radar and infrared and emissions, AI-enabled command and control that turns one pilot into a formation commander, and propulsion that supports extended range, high performance, and extreme onboard power demands. That combination points to one strategic goal: preserve air dominance in an era saturated with sensors, missiles, and autonomous systems. If the F-47 can operate from farther back, remain difficult to detect, and multiply combat power through drone teaming, it forces opponents into a brutal dilemma. Build more aircraft, build better sensors, build better networks, and solve the same hard engineering problems at the same time. Those problems don't yield to slogans. They yield to manufacturing mastery, thermal management, materials science, and systems integration at the highest level. Conclusion. The F-47 isn't framed as an incremental upgrade. It's framed as a redefinition. Stealth that can endure high energy profiles. Thermal management that treats heat like a controlled design variable. systems that turn sensor overload into decision advantage. Drone teaming that turns one cockpit into a command node. Engines that don't just propel the jet, but power the ecosystem around it. Even with much still classified, the direction is clear. This isn't just another fighter jet. It's a new model of air combat. If this breakdown helped you understand what's behind the headlines, hit like and subscribe. We'll keep tracking what emerges as more details become public. Thanks for watching Jet Intelligence, and I'll see you in the next one.